No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of AEW Dynamite for Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. Double or Nothing is coming up in just over a week. Memorial Day weekend. Let's get to this recap. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Thank you for your viewership. We went straight to the entrance of Jon Moxley. He came over the barricade, and then he was attacked by his opponents, Kyle Fletcher and Jeff Cobb. They attacked him. Bryan Danielson, Moxley's tag team partner, ran down. All four men brawled as Bryan's music was playing, very similar to Anarchy in the Arena from a few years ago when Moxley's theme music just kept playing as they were fighting all over the arena. A little sneak peek of what's to come for Anarchy in the Arena. It was a nice little throwback. The bell finally rang, and we had the match. Good match, predictable outcome. Moxley is the IWGP champion, so there's no chance he's losing, right? And they also have the Anarchy in the Arena match with Bryan Danielson. The bad guys did get the upper hand for a little bit, but eventually Moxley hit Fletcher with the Death Rider and got the 1-2-3 victory. And then Konosuke Takeshita immediately attacked Moxley when the match was over. Claudio ran down to make the save with a crowbar. And then we had a Swerve Strickland Christian Cage video package. They have a world title match coming up at Double or Nothing. And I did like that AEW showed some clips of Swerve Strickland doing media appearances, making it seem like he's a big deal. And that's what you should do because he is, in fact, the AEW world champion. So that was definitely a good thing to do. We had Adam Copeland, the TNT champion, coming out to confront Malakai Black, but he was jumped during his entrance by Buddy Matthews and Brody King. They took off Adam Copeland's wedding ring, and then they put him in the corner. They had a couple of chairs on each side of him. Kyle O'Reilly tried to make the save, but Brody King took him out. And then House of Black did a triple drop kick to Copeland in the corner. And they took off with his wedding ring. More on House of Black here in just a few moments. We had footage shown from the New Japan Pro Wrestling event in Ontario, California over the weekend. Eddie Kingston lost his New Japan Championship, and after the match was over, he was attacked by the Elite. The Elite cut a promo and said that Kingston may have been bit by the injury bug and that it might be 4-on-3. They said maybe the other team should consider forfeiting the match. Now, Kingston was reportedly injured at the end of that match. They did the post-match angle with the Elite, but during the week there was talk that he might get pulled from the match, and it was in fact confirmed. Eddie Kingston out of Anarchy in the Arena, and a replacement was to be determined. More on that soon. We had FTR interviewed by Renee Paquette about the situation. They said they're not going to forfeit, and they think they may have found a fourth man to take Kingston's spot. We had Jack Perry on commentary for the Young Bucks versus Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. Match was all right. It was a filler match. Daniels got a pretty good reaction. They were chanting Fallen Angel, but even though the good guys did get in a little bit of offense, it was a showcase match for the Bucks. They picked up the win with the TK driver. And then afterwards, they got on the mic. They said they're cleaning up the office from toxicity. They talked about how Christopher Daniels was trying to screw things up. And because of that, they had no other choice but to fire him. They did say they were going to give him a surveillance package and he would get a check for the next 30 days. But that was it. That was all he was getting. He's gone. And then Jack Perry decided to pour an energy drink on the head of poor Tony Schiavone. It was entertaining, I suppose. Build some heat for the Bucks, and Daniels was very, very well received by the fans on this show. We had a Malakai Black backstage promo, and he was holding Copeland's wedding ring. He accepted the barbed wire steel cage match for Double or Nothing, but he said if Copeland loses, Copeland has to take a knee to the House of Black. So we'll see what happens at Double or Nothing. We had Hook coming out for a squash match. He quickly won with the red rum, and then he called out Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree. Jericho came out with Big Bill. Jericho said that he hoped Hook learned his lesson from basically hitting himself with a baseball bat. And Hook said he just wanted to fight. Jericho said the world doesn't revolve around Hook. Crowd started chanting, "Please retire." And Jericho said that when he does retire, he's going to be in every Hall of Fame, but that's not happening yet. And then he said Hook needs to earn his rematch. And Jericho said there's going to be a qualifying match on Collision. Hook said that sounded good. And then he hit Chris Jericho with the microphone. Big Bill attacked Hook. Jericho laid out Hook with the Judas effect, and then Shibata ran down to make the save. Jericho was busted open from the mic shot. I'm still not caring about the Learning Tree Jericho. I guess some people think it's a parody of CM Punk being overly nice and obnoxious. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. And I really don't care about this feud for the FTW title. I really don't. World champion Swerve Strickland cut a backstage promo, and he said he's going to put Christian Cage in the grave at Double or Nothing, and Brian Cage was going to be the final nail in the Mogul Embassy's coffin. We had the match, Swerve Strickland versus Brian Cage, which was a very good match, but you guys know it's one of my Dynamite sayings. I have several of them. And one of them is, if Brian Cage is on Rampage or Collision, he's probably winning. If he's wrestling on Dynamite, he's probably losing. And sure enough, he lost this one, but he got in a lot of offense on Swerve. Swerve tried to go right after Cage, but Cage eventually slowed down Swerve's momentum, and Cage did his suplex where he picks up the guy from the apron and brings him back in the ring. Cool stuff. You know, it's a nice move. And then he hit the F5, but Swerve kicked out of that. Swerve showed off some strength. He did a deadlift brainbuster to Cage, which, funny enough, isn't actually as impressive as you might think. I feel like Cage has lost some body mass in recent weeks. He seemed smaller. Like, height-wise, he's not the tallest guy, but I felt like him and Swerve almost had the same body mass. And Cage is known for being jacked. So it didn't really look as impressive as you might think. Like, you think Brian Cage, he's this massive guy, but he didn't look super massive next to to Swerve. So I wonder if maybe he lost a little bit of body mass. But it was a very good match. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." It was back and forth. Swerve snapped the arm of Cage. Swerve had targeted the arm earlier in the match. And then he picked up the win with the house call kick. Afterwards, Swerve was going to give Cage a concerto, gonna give the arm the concerto, but then Christian Cage's music hit. Christian and Mama Wayne showed up, and unfortunately, stupid babyface Swerve fell for the trap. Of course, Nick Wayne was not there because Nick Wayne came in with a low blow from behind, and then kill switch, took out Swerve, and they had a photo of Swerve's family, and they hit him in the head with the photo. Of course, Swerve was busted open. Maybe Moxley has inherited the bleeding on every show gimmick. He handed it over to Swerve Strickland. Swerve was bleeding, looked very much like he got just sliced open, like the blood was just gushing. And Christian said that he was forced to embarrass Swerve. He took the photo and he rubbed it in Swerve's face to get the blood on it. Like, it was a good angle, but they've really overdone blood, and we've seen things stapled to Swerve's head, so it's like you're almost numb to it at this point. We've already seen this stuff multiple times with Swerve. Backstage, Samoa Joe confronted Hook and I guess was trying to fire him up. Is Samoa Joe turning babyface? I'm not really sure. We had our women's match, 9:30 time slot. They had an overrun for this Dynamite, so the women's match was a little bit later than usual. Toni Storm versus Harley Cameron. Another match where the winner is very obvious. Toni's not losing before her title defense. Harley did get in some offense. Serena Deeb was out there on the stage providing a distraction, and Harley threw Toni into the steel steps. Toni regained control after the break, delivered a perfect plex, but Harley kicked out of it. Harley started to make a comeback. They traded near falls, but then Toni busted out the Storm Zero and got the 1-2-3 victory. Basic match, not much to it. Then we had a backstage promo with Will Ospreay and Roderick Strong. And Will Ospreay does not respect Roderick Strong because Strong doesn't respect him. And Strong said it's true. He said Will Ospreay's an idiot. He's a coward. He's a fraud. He doesn't deserve the title. Not really sure what his reasoning is. I mean, they were talking about like stuff from Ring of Honor and PWG. So I guess if you know their backstory from the indies, then maybe this all made more sense. But I'm just like, okay. And plus, we all know Will Ospreay's winning anyways. I mean, Roderick Strong, of all people, will not be giving Will Ospreay his first loss in AEW. So the match will be really good. I mean, it'll probably be great, but I mean, obvious outcome. And, it's just kind of filler for Will Ospreay until Wembley. I don't know if he's getting the title match, world title match, or if he's just going to be defending the whatever this title is. What is it? International title, Continental. I'm not even sure which one it is at this point, but whatever title that Roderick Strong has, it's going to be Will Ospreay's most likely at the pay-per-view. But we'll talk more about that when we do predictions for Double or Nothing next week. Then we had the Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale contract signing. Willow, unlike Roderick Strong, not respecting Will Ospreay, Willow actually does respect Mercedes, but she doesn't think that Mercedes respects the TNT title. And Willow said that the title means everything to her. and she's not going to let Mercedes walk in and take it. She signed the contract to make the match official, as if it wasn't already. And then Mercedes, she responded, and she was getting booed, by the way. I think she's going full heel here. She talked about how she's kicked down doors and broke glass ceilings when Willow Nightingale was a rookie. She did call Willow a great champion, but she's not the greatest of all time. Mercedes said she's going to be the new face of TBS, and Willow losing will be the best thing to happen to her. Mercedes signed the contract, and then Willow brought up how the last time they wrestled, she walked out as champion, and Mercedes didn't walk out at all. Mercedes did not appreciate this. She slapped Willow and then grabbed the championship, but then Willow picked up Mercedes and gave her a doctor bomb, put her through the table. That table had a family, damn it. Not nice to the table. Table gets broken. Your standard overdone contract signing segment. I mean, WWE did these segments to death. Overproduced. Too much contract signings. Just too many of them. But hey, AEW's only done like half a dozen now, so I guess they got some catching up to do. Segment was all right. Mercedes is almost certainly winning that title. I mean, I would be shocked if she didn't win that title. And as Matthew pointed out, she finally took a bump. I think this was actually her first bump she has taken. And like I said, this is a big match for Mercedes. She's got to silence her critics, and she definitely has a few at this point. Yeah, Jeff, I'm with you, man. I'm irritated because we get not one. How lucky am I to get not one but two contract signings in 1 week? What did I do to deserve that? Because we got another Cody Rhodes contract signing, two months in a row of Cody contract signings. Boy, oh boy. We had our main event of the evening, Okada versus Dax Harwood. Another one of my sayings, I have several of them, several Aaron Rift Dynamite trademarks or AEW trademarks. One of them, as I mentioned earlier, was when Brian Cage is wrestling on Dynamite, he's probably losing. Well, when Dax Harwood is in a singles match, he's probably losing. And he's certainly going to lose against Okada. Same scenario as like with Ospreay and Mercedes. Like we know they're not losing right away, so it's kind of just like filler. The match was very good though, standard match with these guys where, they trade moves back and forth, they chop each other, they give each other the headbutts, kind of the same stuff we see in these types of matches, these wrestling clinics that they put on. Dax barely beat the 10 count. And then Dax went for the sharpshooter. Okada avoided it. And then Dax delivered a superplex. And he even busted out a tombstone pile driver. Okada kicked out. Okada avoided the diving headbutt. And then Dax regained the upper hand. He applied the sharpshooter. Okada got to the rope. And at this point, Okada was, I guess, feeling desperate. And he tried to leave the ringside area with his title. Okada was caught, but then the referee took the title, tried to get rid of the title. And while the ref was distracted, Okada kicked Dax low. He kicked the bottom rope to give Dax a low blow. And then he hit the Rainmaker and got the 1-2-3 victory. As far as Okada goes, he just feels like another wrestler to me, at least. I mean, if you're a diehard Okada fan and you followed him in New Japan, then you probably think he's a top superstar. But as of right now, I just think he's a good wrestler on the roster. That's how I see him, as somebody who was never really following New Japan that much. And yeah, I mean, what a heel when he's getting more cheers than Dax Harwood. Just saying. They're trying to get the heat on the Elite, but the fans are still chanting for Okada. So I guess they got some work to do. I mean, some have argued that he shouldn't have been a heel in the first place, but they're trying to set him up for an eventual match with Kenny Omega, who will obviously be a babyface when he returns. And then after the match was over, the Elite came down, and the idea was that they were going to try and finish off Harwood, so there would be another man down for Anarchy in the arena. But then we had Bryan Danielson, Cash Wheeler run down. It was still 4-on-3. But then we had the return of Darby Allin. Darby came in with the skateboard. He took out everybody, and you had the good guys standing. So Darby Allin is officially your fourth member, replacing Eddie Kingston in the Anarchy in the Arena match. I mean, I think it's a good substitute, maybe even a better substitute than Eddie, because, I mean, Darby's going to do crazy stuff. I mean, I feel bad. I don't really feel bad for him because it's his own choice, but I feel bad that Darby's probably going to do crazy stuff and hurt himself again. That's just what I come to expect at this point. But as far as like car crash entertainment, I think Darby is probably a more suitable participant in this match than Eddie Kingston. I mean, Eddie would have just, bled and, probably gotten punched in the face a lot and that kind of stuff and chopped people. But Darby's going to be like jumping off the stands, jumping off platforms and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And hey, I guess it's better than climbing Mount Everest and actually risking his life. Although you could say what he does in the ring is risking his life, but I feel like it's probably a bigger risk to climb Mount Everest. I mean, it's a very dangerous endeavor. So Dynamite was okay. I mean, I am looking forward to Anarchy in the Arena. And, the Elite stuff has been pretty entertaining. The wrestling was good on the show, but, I mean, it kind of falls into the same problem I've had with Dynamite as of late, and that's the matches are so predictable now. Like, Brian Cage wrestling on Dynamite, we know he's losing. Okada, when he's not defending his title, he's obviously winning on Dynamite. And, the Toni Storm match, Tony's not losing before the pay-per-view. It's just like the matches are good, but one thing I really miss about AEW's product is I feel like 2019, 2020, 2021, like it had a sense of unpredictability. Like you would tune in and you wouldn't know what to expect. Like they were trying to be like 1996, 1997 Nitro and keep you on the edge of your seat. And now they're just like, well, AEW's where the best wrestle. And yeah, it just feels flat. Like I need more. Like I need my jaw to drop when I'm watching this show and be like, holy cow, I can't believe that just happened. And there's not much. I mean, Jack Perry pouring an energy drink on Tony Schiavone. It was funny, but I need more than that. I need more unpredictability. And I want some shock TV. Like I need something that's gonna throw me for a loop. I give the show a C+. It was okay. Like AEW is not on life support. In contrary to what Walter says, they're going to be fine. I suspect they will get their TV renewal and they'll probably be making good money off of that TV deal, and that will keep them in business for the foreseeable future. But man, as just a TV viewer, like I feel like they got to spice things up. They got the steak, but it doesn't have that sizzle. We need that sizzle. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. And I will be back Friday night with a recap of SmackDown, another contract signing. And I was almost going to go with a B- for Dynamite, but you know how it is with the contract signing. It lowers the letter grade. So C+ it is for Dynamite. And SmackDown's going to have a tough time of getting an A because we got another contract signing. Boy, oh boy, I cannot wait for a contract signing. Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. We'll see what happens on that. So tune in Friday night for that. I miss MJF. Hopefully he's back sooner than later. Take care, everybody. Buy a shirt, nodq.com/merch, and I will see you all next time.